Hi, second grade readers. Do you remember last week we started talking about how we can get to know characters in a book? And we read the story from the book Frog and Toad all year. And we read the story Down the Hill. And in that story, Frog woke Toad up and said, "Hey, let's go sledding." And Toad was like, "No, I don't want to go sledding. I want to sleep. I don't want to do any of that." And we talked about the fact that Toad is kind of a grumpy little toad and that he's negative, right? And that Frog is kind of a happy little creature and he is always wanting to do things and to bring Toad out and to have him have fun. So we've kind of gotten to know the two characters of Frog and Toad. So today what I want us to do is even take that a little bit farther and know that we can actually, as we're reading our books, we can ask questions about our characters and we can answer them ourselves because we know them so well now. They've become like friends. We know Toad is probably going to be a grumpy little thing. We know that Frog's probably going to be really happy and excited about everything he does. So what I want us to do today is I want us to read another Frog and Toad story. And this story is from the book Frog and Toad Are Friends. And the story is called Spring. And what I want us to do is as we read this story, we are going to ask ourselves questions about the character and then decide what do we think that character will do. Knowing them as well as we do, what do we think that character is going to do? Okay, let's get started. This one is called Spring. Frog ran up the path to Toad's house. He knocked on the front door. There was no answer. "Toad, Toad," shouted Frog, "wake up, it is spring." "Blah," said a voice from inside the house. "Toad, Toad," cried Frog, "the sun is shining. The snow is melting. Wake up." What do you think Toad's response is going to be? Well, he's kind of grumpy, so I'm guessing he's not going to be very excited about Frog's idea. Let's see. "The snow is melting. Wake up." "I'm not here," said the voice. So Toad was not very happy. Was my prediction correct? Yes. Frog walked into the house. It was dark. All the shutters were closed. "Toad, where are you?" called Frog. What do you think Toad's going to say? I think he's going to say, "Get out," right? Let's see. "Toad, where are you?" called Frog. "Go away," said the voice from a corner of the room. Toad was lying in bed. He had pulled all the covers over his head. Frog pushed Toad out of bed. Uh-oh. Frog pushed Toad out of the bed. Now we know that Toad is kind of a grumpy thing and he's kind of negative. So how do you think he's going to react to getting pushed out of the bed? I think he is not going to be very happy at all. Let's see. Frog pushed Toad out of the bed. He pushed him out of the house and onto the front porch. Toad blinked in the bright sun. "Help!" said Toad. "I cannot see anything." "Don't be silly," said Frog. "What you see is the clear, warm light of April. And it means that we can begin a whole new year together, Toad." "Think of it," said Frog. "We will skip through the meadows and run through the woods and swim in the river. In the evenings, we will sit right here on this front porch and count the stars." What do you think Toad's response is going to be to all these happy things that Frog has pointed out? "You can count them, Frog," said Toad. "I will be too tired. I'm going back to bed." Toad went back into his house. He got into the bed and pulled the covers over his head again. "But Toad," cried Frog, "you will miss all the fun." "Listen, Frog," said Toad, "how long have I been asleep?" "You have been asleep since November," said Frog. "Well then," said Toad, "a little more sleep will not hurt me. Come back again and wake me up at about 1/2 May. Good night, Frog." "But Toad," said Frog, "I will be lonely until then." Toad did not answer. He had fallen asleep. Frog looked at Toad's calendar. The November page was still on top. Frog, what do you think he's going to do? We know Frog is kind of a happy little creature and he's always coming up with ways to solve problems, right? What do you think he's going to do? I think he is going to trick Toad in some way to coming out to play with him. Let's see if our prediction's correct. Frog tore off the November page. He tore off the December page and the January page and the February page and the March page. He came to the April page. Frog tore off the April page too. Then Frog ran back to Toad's bed. "Toad, Toad, wake up, it's May now." "What?" said Toad. "Can it be May so soon?" "Yes," said Frog. "Look at your calendar." Toad looked at the calendar. The May page was on top. "Why, it is May," said Toad as he climbed out of the bed. Then he and Frog ran outside to see how the world was looking in the spring. Today, boys and girls, I would like for you with your very own book to read and think about the character. When something happens in the story, try to predict what you think the character will do. How will they behave? See how well you do, and we will talk more tomorrow. Hope everyone is doing well. Bye.